Hey everybody, Cooper here at etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the RockyMounts AfterParty on our 2021 Ford Ranger. Now, the first thing we do want to show you and what makes the AfterParty such a unique bike rack is the included swing away feature on it. So, as we come down here to the bottom, there is going to be this knob that after we loosen up a little bit, well, there we go. And then we unthread. It will allow us to go ahead and pull an additional knob here on the top, and then the whole entire rack will swing away from our vehicle. So if we do need access into our tailgate for any reason, with our bike loaded up, it is just as simple as disengaging that lever, unthreading it, and then we have this full tailgate access with no issue and our bike still loaded, which is really nice in case you are keeping anything that maybe you need for a camping trip or such that you have your bikes loaded up for here and you need to take that out before you take your bikes off. But in order to get it back into place, there are two separate knobs that we're going to pull. I typically like to engage this one first just because this controls essentially everything past that point. And then once you get to about halfway there, you can go ahead and pull the further one out, which does rotate it towards our vehicle. And then coming around to the other side of the rack, once we push it all back into place, we simply retighten down. To know that we are back in that position. Now, if you did need some space to maybe grab something out of the back, but not necessarily need the tailgate all the way down, we do actually have a tilt-away feature on the AfterParty here. So just pulling that lever lets it kind of tilt away. It's not enough room for our tailgate to come all the way down, unfortunately. We do make contact on that main centerpiece right there. But again, if you just needed something really quickly, it does tilt down far enough away to grab maybe your shoes, your helmet, anything else that you would keep back here. To push it back up, we actually don't need to re-engage that lever at all. We can just go ahead and grab the rack and lift up until we hear that click, letting us know it's back in that seated position. Now you know why it's such a great fit for the Ranger. Let's talk about what bikes you can carry with it. Well, our two main points of contact are going to be two different ratcheting arms, one for the front tire and one for the back tire, so we are making no frame contact, meaning that our carbon frame bikes and our alternative frame bikes are going to be an option available for this rack. There's also a 60-pound weight capacity per bike on our two separate trays, meaning that our heavier bikes and our e-bikes are going to be an option as well. To unload your bike, you simply just push down on the lever, which then loosens, and then you can push that up, and then it disengages that ratcheting mechanism, allowing us to push our wheels out. Now, you can go ahead and freely do that for one of them, but when you're on your second one, do take more care, because once you push that out of the way, all that weight is going to be transferred from the rack to you. And then you just go ahead and lift up your bike, and you're ready to hit the trails. Looking at those trays, we can see that they are essentially all one really long piece, which does allow us some flexibility when we are loading up our bikes for different situations. If we don't want to make sure that there's any bike-to-bike contact, we can sit maybe one a little bit further forward on the tray while putting one a little bit further back. So that customization is really nice when it comes to bike trays like this. But putting them up and flipping our levers back in place, we can really hear that ratcheting mechanism. And that's going to be what holds our arms in place and really holds our tires in place. Now, if we re-engage that lever down at the bottom that we used to tilt away, we can actually push it closer towards our vehicle and in a more seated position. So if you don't have any bikes on, this is the more ideal position to have it in, just because you're not taking up as much space. But anytime you do add something into the back of your vehicle on the hitch, we are going to be adding onto the vehicle. So let's take some measurements real quick. In this more seated position, taking our tape measure off of the bumper and coming to the back, we can see that we're only adding on about 18 inches down in this configuration, which isn't too much space. But with it in the more flat position, when we're going to have our bikes on the rack, we are adding on about 33 to 34 inches instead. So those are two important measurements. Just know if you plan on maybe trying to park this in your garage or any other tight spaces, is there enough room for your vehicle plus all of those measurements. Coming a little bit closer down at our hitch, we do have an anti-rattle bolt here, which is going to be our 2-inch fitting inside our 2-inch receiver tube, and we have a lock core on the other side, which is just a nice additional security feature, knowing that our rack does come with that. Overall, I do think that the AfterParty is a really nice bike rack, and especially in the case of our Ranger here today, we saw that that swing away feature does really help enhance the combination in order to get that full tailgate access, which is a really nice bonus as well. And today we just took a look at the RockyMounts AfterParty on our 2021 Ford Ranger. My name's Cooper, and thanks for watching.
Here we are on our test course. As we hit the alternating bumps, you can see what it would be like to hit a pothole on the road. Our solid speed bumps simulate pulling in and out of a driveway or hitting a speed bump in a parking lot. We use the slalom portion of our course to simulate the side-to-side movement, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvers.